What is going on? What's going on? It is great to be back. It is great to be back. I have been gone for 4 months. I took a break. I did season one, did 14 conversations, and I had it was such a good time. It was such a time to reflect. We did mental health, and we had so many different guests on talking about mental health. So now we are in season two. Season two is probably going to be different from season one. So I'm excited about what's to come with season two. I don't know how long, like I said, with season one, how long I'm going to be doing season two, but I'm going to let God use me and let it flow. So today, starting season two, conversation 15, we're going to talk about the word fear. I've been wanting to talk about this. I actually want to talk about this in season one, but mental health was just a hot topic that needed to be talked about. So we're going to talk about fear and just go from there. So I'm so excited. I prayed, like, who could I have as my first guest for season two? And so I said, God, just show me. And he showed me my sister. She goes to church with me. Her and her husband and her kids are phenomenal family. I love them to pieces, and so I thank him. I thank her for wanting to do this podcast. So, without further ado, I introduce to some, and whoever else does not know the lovely Tyishia Evely. How you doing, Ty?
Hey, Kevin, that's my bro. What's up?
All right. So I'm gonna have you introduce yourself, and then we're gonna continue on from there.
Okay, cool. Hey, everybody. Okay, so my name is Tyishia Evely, and um, I'm a native Jersey girl. Okay, I am born and raised in New Jersey. I am from Newark, New Jersey. Okay, so put some respect on that. But I have been in Texas now for 5 years, almost six. Um, as Kevin mentioned a little bit, I have a wonderful husband. His name is Keith Everly, and I am also the mama of three wonderful, handsome, just phenomenal young men, Elijah, Jeremiah, and Tyler. And I'm just the queen of the castle, so you can already know I'm a I'm a ball of energy because I'm the only female. So most of the time I get my way because I'm spoiled. I mean, who wouldn't be spoiled surrounded by four men? At this point, they're men. So, I recently just graduated from Abilene Christian University, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And, that accent gonna come out tonight. Like I said, I lived in New Jersey all of my life until moving to Texas in 2018. And so you're gonna get all of this good energy from the
Good.
Garden State. Okay, good with the
Good.
T, good. Okay, from New Jersey. Okay, but I'm just I'm an open book. I love life. Life has had its ups and downs with me, but overall, my life has been good, and I believe in spreading positivity. I will find the positive in the worst situation. That's just if I could explain my personality, that's my personality. I'm gonna find the positivity. Um, I love to have fun. I am loud. I may be loud on this podcast right now, but I am loud. I am honestly loud. I just love good energy. I'm off of the vibe. I love good vibes. I love to dance. I don't toot my horn that much, but I also love to sing. Um, I can honestly say I can sing.
She can. She can. She can.
I
She
I love
can.
to sing. I can sing. I've studied music. I love all genres of music, but my main genre is the good gospel. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
But
Hallelujah.
okay, hallelujah. Okay. I just love good vibes. Like this right here, this is a vibe, okay? If anybody is on and tuned in, you about to be in for the vibe, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, um, like I thank you for your introduction. I thank you for just giving me that. Yes, she can sing, sing. Might have to do a little piece before we get off tonight.
Oh,
Um,
okay. We
but
know somebody.
so the word fear. So I got a lot of acronyms. I got 5 acronyms, and I was
Wow.
so amazed. I probably could have found more, but we're gonna just dive into this subject, and I'm gonna, you know, talk to you about, what was your fear. You talked about school, and that was one of the things that I thought about. When I wanted you to be on this show is, hey, she just went back to school. And I know people around our age be like, oh, I don't want to, I ain't got time for that. I got a family, I got this, I got
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
you're making
Yeah.
every excuse not to do it. So, but before we jump into that, I wanted to talk about just the acronyms that I found. So the first one that everybody knows, fear, false evidence appearing real. All right. So
Right.
these are some other ones. I don't know if you heard of these, Ty. So face
Okay.
everything and rise. Face
That's
everything and
I like
rise.
that one. I like that
Um,
one.
forget everything and run.
Hmm.
Um, fantasize experiences appearing real. Fantasize experiences appearing real. And then the
Okay.
last one that I found, false expectations appearing real. So I was
Hmm.
amazed when I found these, but the one that I think everyone knows when you hear the word fear, you say, hey, acronym for is false evidence appearing real.
Right.
So using that acronym, what does that mean to you, and how do you look at that acronym for those words?
That is to me the most common one as well. I've heard that one before too, but to me, I feel like it really does explain the word fear because fear, once you actually realize what you're actually being afraid of, it's not real. It doesn't exist. It's you're able to conquer it. You're able to overcome it. So I do feel like it's false. It's something that's appearing real, that's making you uncomfortable, that's pulling you out your comfort zone. But once you actually come out of your comfort zone, or once you actually, face the challenge, you probably can't even really recall what it is you were afraid of. Because once you got it, you got it.
Right. So when we talk about fear, you know, people have phobias. I know my phobia is afraid of heights. I don't do. I was just talking to somebody. I said I do not do roller coasters. You would
You,
not catch me on a roller coaster. Like literally, like I can remember I went to Miami for my birthday, my 40th birthday, and me and my friends we on a balcony on the 19th floor. And so we go out. They was like, come out here, Kevin. And I was like, nope, because there's no wall. There was a
I,
little balcony, but I need the wall to be higher. So because I kind of scooted a little bit. Don't judge me. It is my
I'm not
phobia, and
judging you,
I
oh, but I'm
and
laughing.
and and I will attest to it that I am afraid of heights. I do not like heights. Never
Wow.
have. Um, I wonder who else has a fear of heights or what your phobia is, but mine is heights. And so I
Eh.
yeah. So, but what is your phobia?
Well, just to piggyback off what you said, I'm not afraid of heights because I'll do heights. I'll go to tall buildings. In my much slimmer and trimmer days, I love the good roller coaster. I was for it. Now, people be falling out and stuff, and I don't have no time for that. Nobody got time for that. But I don't. I have like flying phobia. Like it's just something I've flown so many times. I've been to Europe, everything, and it's like every time I fly, it's like my first time flying. I don't know what it is, but that's like with my heights. But my most it's I call it my most simple fear, but it's really a phobia. Is lightning. I am afraid of lightning.
I did not know that that was a phobia
For
until
me, it is.
I heard somebody say it this past week. Somebody talked about it and was talking about phobia, and so, but it's interesting that you talk about planes, and so people was like, "Well, how are you afraid of heights? And you were in the Air Force and you used to fly planes." So let me just say this right now, okay, for all my friends who are watching, all right, because people get this misconstrued all the time. Everybody in the Air Force was not a pilot. Everybody
Okay,
in the Air Force did not fly planes. So I I love to fly. I love to fly on a plane. Like I
but you had to
love,
ride in them, right?
huh?
But you had to ride in the plane. You didn't have to fly it, but you had to ride in them, right?
Yeah, but when I deploy, yeah. But I'm
Okay.
saying like when I'm in a plane, I lift the window up to see it take off. Like that's
Mm-mm.
like a thrill for me.
No, no,
And
sir.
I'm like, people. I see people. They put their shades down and they fearing and they praying, and I'm like, but we protected. And for
Ooh,
me, I just like, hey, I don't have that fear, because I've flown so much and around the world
okay,
being in the
okay.
military. But yeah, yeah, that's what's up. So you have a fear of lightning. I wonder who else. Type your phobia in the comments if you want to. But I like to hear from other people. What is your phobia? What is it something that you're scared
Yeah,
of? Because I'll be shocked, because I never heard anybody talk about lightning. I heard it the other day for the first time, but it's amazing. But um, so let's get into you when it came to going back to school. Did you
mm,
have a fear in going back to school?
honestly, I did.
Okay.
So my first fear was that I started, I guess I want to say before the pandemic. It was actually 2020, but before it was actually declared a pandemic. This was maybe around February. I started, looking at schools, trying to pick a school because I'm like, I want to get my bachelor's degree. I had a goal of getting my bachelor's degree by the time I was 40. Look at me out here telling my age and on the
Well, come
public
on,
live.
come on.
Okay. So I wanted to get my degree by the time I was 40. And, some of my other fears, you'll see how it all tied all together, why I wanted to get my degree by the time I was 40. So I started looking at schools, and then I finally narrowed it down to, oh, Abilene has a wonderful online program. Then they declare this pandemic. Now, wait a minute. So I'm trying to go to school, a full-time employee, shout out to my job, Blue Cross Blue Shield, LLHCSC. I'm a full-time employee. I'm a full-time mom. I'm a full-time wife. Oh, child, honey. I'm faithful to my church. And now I'm trying to add in going to college, and then boom, we in the pandemic, which our age demographic, most of us, we ain't never been in no pandemic. We don't know what a pandemic
Right,
is. We
right.
like, what is a pandemic? What y'all mean we can't go outside? What you mean we can't do nothing? So that was a fear all in itself. Like it's like I have to now do this everything from my home, which is going to always be online. But I thought about maybe having a library, going out to get my supplies and things that I needed. No, that was the first fear. Then the second, or the I want to say the biggest fear with my college career was the fear of not being able to complete it because it got hard some days. Some days I would have to work and then have to come home. Then you got your baby son like, Mom, what we gonna eat? And then I'm looking at Canvas. And those of you who know Canvas, that's how most colleges and schools do their assignments right now. Canvas, like, you got an assignment that's due at 11:59, sis. But the baby hungry. And husband, he ain't saying it too much, but he over there hungry too. So it's like I'm gonna probably be late with my assignment because I gotta feed my family, and it's like, how many times can I be late? And before they try to put me out, did I make a realistic goal? Am I gonna complete this? It was just, it was real. It was real. Then when the world opened back up, church started to, get more active because, we were home, and then we started to get more active. And then, me, like I told y'all at the beginning, I'm for the vibe. So if there's something going on, I got to be there. Ty not be there, that don't work. So now I'm trying to go to everything I want to go to work, take care of my family, and complete my schoolwork. It was a fear, but it's like you said with that false. It was a false. Once I got into the swing of it by the second year, I'm like, oh, okay, I got this. I started praying about it. I started saying, you know what? If you want to do stuff, then you can go ahead and do it. But now you got to come in and you got to do this homework too. So, I probably gained a few more pounds because Coca-Cola became my friend again, and a little sugar became my friend because I had, by any means necessary, I had to do what I had to do. So it was definitely a scary process, but I'm an example for those of you who fear going back to school, as they call us now, the almost middle age. It can be done. You can do it.
So I appreciate you talking about that. So I myself, I listen. So I have a story. We ain't got time to even tell it, but I've been stopping and going and stopping and going, and I'm back in school now too, trying to
Awesome.
finish my bachelor's. It's
Yes.
definitely been rough, but it was something that you said when you're talking about the mind, because the mind will tell you one thing and have you start believing it.
Yep.
So, we're gonna get into some other things when it talks about fear, but the biggest thing that I wanna talk about is the fact that when you're talking about going back to school and trying to complete something, it's something about the mind telling you, especially if you feel like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna accomplish this. It
Hmm.
tells you, no, you're not gonna be able to accomplish this. And
Yep.
so I think about my season one when I was talking about mental health and how the mind works, and the
Hmm.
mind can tell you, and if you start continuing to think, it says in the Bible, so man thinketh,
So
so
man,
is
think it.
he.
So is he. That's
So
right.
as I'm starting to think about the things and say, man, I'm not going to be able to complete this. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm telling myself, and I don't want to get spiritual here tonight, but
Huh.
when you talk about the power in the tongue and you start speaking stuff out and you start saying, well, I'm not going to be able to do this, you keep telling yourself that. So you're already
I
speaking
know
it into
that's right.
existence, and then you're already telling your mind, and it's already made up for you. So it's
That's right.
like, how do you overcome that? And when you're talking about your life and your family, your husband and church and all of that, it can get busy, and you're saying, how am I going to complete this? How am I going
Hmm.
to graduate knowing that I still got all these responsibilities, knowing that at the end
Hmm.
of the day I still got a family. I can't
Right.
say, okay, family, I'm gonna be in school for the next 3 months. Y'all fend for yourselves, because
You
I know
cannot.
Keith gonna look at you like
You lost your mind.
she done lost her mind. And I can only imagine what Tyler would say. He'd probably be like, "Mom, really? Like,
That's the one. Like, I'm hungry. I
I
understand you
need you
have
to cook."
homework.
Right,
I'm
right,
hungry.
right. I'm not gonna be eating ramen noodles and all this stuff for 3 months. That's just
Hmm.
not who I am. So, like, how do you tell somebody who's looking, one, to go back to school, who's looking to start a business, but they have that fear, and people our age? So one of the things, and I want you to answer this, but one of the things that I started, I really paid attention to was when COVID hit, a lot of people in our age group and beyond started to say, "I'm about to go and forget the 9 to 5.
Right.
We stuck, so I'm about to do this entrepreneurship." And so you
Right.
start to see more people blast off in that field of saying, "Hey, I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that."
Yes.
Um, but it took something drastic to push people to do something that they probably could have done a while ago. But again, when we tell ourselves that we can't do it, and we continue to tell ourselves, I remember, shout out to TPHND, to our
Woohoo!
church. I
Shout
remember
out.
Pastor Travis talked about this in one of his one of the man caves. He talked about the mind and how you can continue to tell yourself something over and over and over
Yep.
till you start
Yep.
believing it. Again,
Yep.
false,
False.
because it's
Yep.
but because you're continuing to talk about it, it's like you're going to believe what you say, but it's false because
Yep.
you can tell yourself all day long, well, I can't play basketball. I mean, if you know you can't play basketball, don't try. But if you know you can, like, continue to practice, continue to do those things. But
Exactly.
when you went back to school, you had to push yourself. Am I correct?
Yep. You are absolutely correct. I had to push myself. You have to first you got to communicate not only with the people around you, and I guess some people of you know, the great education field may say, "No, that's a little crazy." But not you have to communicate with yourself. You got to really get in touch with yourself to say, "What is it that you want to do?" Give yourself a realistic goal. Like, okay, like for me, it was I wanted to complete my degree by 40. Now, when I started, I was almost 40. So,
Mm,
so I was already pressed for time.
right.
So I had to choose when the school laid it out. They said you could do the accelerated program and you don't get summers off and you'll be done in 3 years, or you can do the regular way, which you'll have summers off. You just go spring and fall, but it's going to take you 4 years. I didn't have 4 years because I had a goal of I want to be done by 40. So it's like what you said, and it's like from your first season, you have to put that mental into subjection. You have to speak life into yourself. You have to speak positivity. Like I said, I'm big on positivity, even when it didn't look like it was doable. You have to speak it that, you know what, I can do this. Then I had to communicate with my family. I had to tell them, okay, I know y'all used to me making these. I'm not a trained chef, but I can cook. I can. I ain't just fluffy and chunky for no reason. I can cook. So,
Okay, now.
but I had to tell him, listen, you may not get this every day. Now I'm gonna make sure you gonna eat, but I need y'all to go on this journey with me. So if it's a taco, if it's tomorrow, if it's a salad, it may be something simple as some roasted wings in the oven. I did a lot of set it and forget it. My instant pot became my favorite piece of equipment in the kitchen. Okay,
Amen.
so I can get it done in about 10-15 minutes, go back to what I was doing. So it was a matter of what you tell yourself, what you speak into yourself. Because once you get it, then you can help those around you understand. I had to come up with a plan. I'm like, if get everybody settled. Some days when everybody was asleep at 11, 12 o'clock, I wasn't asleep. I was reading. I was studying. Then, a lot of people shy, at a lot of things as it pertains to school, or they think that it makes them lesser than. I had a tutor. I've been out of school for how many years? My first year, my first and my second year, help, help me. What am I supposed to be looking for? Because I go to work every day. It's a lot of stuff to read. Help me. How can I, narrow down? Then, we live in the technology world, and a lot of people don't like to embrace it. Google is your friend sometimes.
Well,
Okay, we have the tools. If you tell yourself, "Look, I'm gonna get this done," it's we going. I love how you set this up from the first season. Mental health. I know you wanted to do fear in the first season, but I think it was totally appropriate to do mental health first and then talk about fear, because you can't talk about fear before addressing your mental health.
Correct.
They can't go together.
Correct. So when we talk about school, and I'm gonna move on, but it made me think about this new age, and the fear that people have because you go back in the classroom again. Some of us ain't been in the classroom since high school. So you're talking about we 40, we ain't been in the classroom in so long. You got a professor, okay, that's like in his late 20s. You in your late 40s, and
Yeah.
you looking at this dude like, what can you teach me?
Right.
Apparently, he can teach you a lot because he your professor.
He's
But
my
at the end of
professor.
the day, like I be thinking to myself, man, y'all come up with this new math and how to do math, and math was my favorite subject, but now and I can't stand it, but I have to take it in
Hmm.
order to graduate. It's on one of the things that I got to take. This high end math, and I said like, when am I going to use this type of math? But the understanding is you can't run away
Hmm.
from it. Like one of the things that I said is face everything and rise. So you got to face
You gotta face
whatever
it.
is in front of you, and you got to rise to the challenge to say to yourself, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to
Period.
get it done. So when we talk about fear, there were some other things that I want to talk about. One of them I'm gonna leave to last is talking about relationships,
Ah.
and rejection. That's we can talk all day about that.
Yeah.
So
We need a longer cast. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So um so when I look at fear, one of the things I look at, some of the things I look at is losing your job. Because certain people, you'll lose your job, and people will be like, man, the world is in. I still got to pay bills. I got a family
Hmm.
to support, and
Yep.
so you start to fear those things. And so when you look at losing your job, when you look at your health,
Right.
when you go
Yes.
to the
Yes.
doctor, a lot of us don't like to go to the doctor because we have
Shame.
the fear
Yeah.
of hearing something that we don't want to hear.
We don't want to
we,
hear
we
it.
we have the fear of hearing, well, I went to the doctor because I had a cold, but now you telling me that I have something else. I didn't
Right.
come in here for that. So that's whatever you talking about, I ain't trying to hear. But
Hmm.
sometimes it's those things, to where, okay, you being stubborn because you don't want to go to the doctor,
Right.
I'm going to
Over
have to get
stubborn.
something else to make you go to the doctor to find out that the serious thing is going on. So a
Yep.
lot of us don't want to go to the doctor. I understand, because of the cost and all of that, but health is important. Staying
It is.
healthy, doing all of that, checking, doing your yearly,
Your
your whatever
annuals.
check.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, all
Yep.
that is important. But we have the fear of going to the doctor because we don't want to hear what he or she got to say to us. And I'd be like, Doc,
Exactly.
I didn't come here for you to tell me that I got this going on. I came here because I got a bad cough. Now you doing all these extra tests. How much is
Right.
it going to cost? Like, are you going to pay these doctor bills? Because Medicaid and Medicare, hey, they ain't paying everything. So I need you to come
No.
in and tell
Mm-mm.
me what you're gonna do. Like, are you gonna give me an IOU? Because this MRI costs a lot. So it's
Absolutely
always the
not.
fear of going to the doctor,
Hmm.
that we look at, and then
But it's
one of
still mental. If I could
it
tag in there a
is,
little bit,
yeah.
it's still mental, and it's like I think I feared that a little bit. I didn't really have that fear so much because, like I told you, when you little fluffy girl, you try to run in there and you try to be like, all right, make sure everything good. I don't need no problems. I don't need no issues. But it's like you have to tell yourself, you have to think about it in another way. You don't want to hear what they have to say, but what if you hear it and it's too late,
Yep.
rather than you hear it, but you heard it in enough time to fix it. You heard it in enough time to correct it. And so my household know my guys, because that's who I deal with mostly, because I deal with them every day. They know I'm very big on perspective. I
Mm-hmm.
am so big on perspective because they know they can't really come to me with a lot of things because I'm gonna change their perspective. And I only can do that because I had to go through it with myself. I the way I conquer fear is I have to change the way that I look at it, change the way that I embrace it. You know, instead of looking at it as I'm going here and I'm getting this doomed information, no, I'm going to the doctor and they're gonna give me some information in advance so I can possibly correct it. I can fix it sooner than later.
Right.
You know, it's like everything. It's like the famous saying that they say you can look at glass and it's either half full or it's half
Have
empty.
empty. Yep.
It's all in how you look at it. My glass gonna always be half full. I ain't gonna ever look at it as half empty because I just have that perspective. So just encouraging anyone to, you know, you can kind of conquer a lot of things if you change your perspective. You know, I I have this saying, my husband always be like, okay, Ty. And I'm like, don't be negative Nathaniel, you know, because it streams from negative Nancy's. But I'm like, sometimes, you know, men struggle with fear. They struggle with embracing things. And so, you know, my husband, he's not a fearful person, but if it's not if it ain't making sense right away, or if it's not coming to him right away, he's like, mm-mm. And I'm like, listen, Nathaniel, okay, let's look at it this way. So, you know, you don't always want to be a negative Nancy or a negative Nathan. You change the perspective. Conquer that fear by changing the way you look at it.
Okay. Perspective. I like that. I like that. One of the other things that I look at is so I'll talk about this and then I'll move on to some other fears. My fear. So when we talk about the doctor, so um, I'll talk about this. I really, again, this has happened since I've been on break with with the podcast, but
Okay.
so I went into the doctor because I was having these pains, and I was like, man,
Okay.
I gotta go. I gotta go. You know, as men, we hard headed. We will take the pain until we can't take it no more,
Hmm.
and it'll be like we crying, like okay, and you on the floor, it'll be like okay, now I need to go. Like it
Why?
shouldn't even get to that,
Why?
but as men, that's what we do. All right. I just wanted to put that out there because I know that's what we do, and I know women be like, "But why though? Why do you
But
wait until
but
you
why?
in so much pain that you can't even walk? Now we got to call the ambulance, and that's more money when you could have just
Right.
went when I told you to go." But as
Mm-hmm.
men, we it is what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
I remember finally going to the doctor, didn't want to go, um, and they took all these tests and found out that something was going on with me, and I was like, man, what is going on? So they tell me I possibly might have cancer, and
No,
it
the
and
blood
it
of
and it
Jesus.
was and it was something that I feared because my dad passed from it.
Right.
And everybody who watched the show know that I talked extensively about that in the first season, but the fear was okay. Now, what's gonna happen? And so,
Right.
I am a analytical thinker. So I'm sitting in my car after I leave the doctor's office. I'm sitting in my car, and all this stuff is I'm thinking, I'm thinking, I'm thinking, I'm thinking. And I'm like, man, I don't want to go back to the doctor. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But they had me doing all these regimens and had me doing all these tests, and I had to go and see a specialist.
Okay.
But it was the fear that set in because I kept telling my mind that, oh my gosh, this. And it's like I haven't been diagnosed. I've been told
Right.
possible. So I think when you start hearing certain words, your mind automatically triggers and say, well, I
Yeah.
got this. And it's like, but who
Yeah.
told you that? So I always
Right.
tell people, did you go to be a doctor? What school of medicine did you go to? Like, where did you get your degree from?
Right.
And don't tell me that you got it online from a no name school. You just got a certificate say you're a doctor now. No. So I had to understand that, and so I went through everything. I praise God that the report came back that said that I did not have
Come
cancer.
on.
But
And period.
when I think about it, I always think about the fear set in right away because I told my mind something that was false
Right.
instead of really listening to um, a, just listening and understanding that this is just a diagnosis. God has the final say,
That's
and
it.
man can tell you everything under the sun. But at the end of the day, who are you going to put your faith in? Who are you going to trust in? So I'm not here to preach to nobody, but I'm here because I had
Preach,
to
preacher.
learn that. I had to learn that myself when it came to talking about fear because fear set in automatically for me because I knew when I heard the word cancer because it ran on my dad's side and on my
Right.
mom's side. So
Right.
that's when the fear set in. So
That is serious. I mean,
but
and that's so good.
yeah.
It's so good. And I didn't have many notes because we both said this would just be like a you know, general normal convo. But I did write, to help me, steer my thoughts. And I said, what, Taisha, what helped you conquer most of your fears? And my number one was my faith in God.
Mm,
Without my faith, I would fail. And I know that's so cliche for so many people, and it's definitely cliche for, Christians, because yeah, we do say it all the time, without God, I will fail. But when you actually live that if
mm,
it was not for God, and like I said, we're not trying to get all, spooky deep on you, but it's real. That's a fact,
yep,
without your faith, because faith, it's the definition of faith. Faith is the evidence of things not seen. Like we don't know how we gonna get through it, but but I'm gonna get through it. And
right.
it's like that. My faith in God sums up my statement when we were just having a simple conversation before the show started. I'm scared, but because of my faith, I ain't never scared.
Man, I see. I went back to my days in Memphis. I ain't never scared.
And that's
Hey,
exactly where it comes from. Okay, that's the Nork in me, where when I'm scared, I'm gonna say I'm scared, but my background, my upbringing, I ain't never scared. Period.
hey,
Okay.
hey, hey.
Because with God, that's just a boldness. And yeah, it do take time. It take a lot of experiences. It take a lot of situations. It take a lot of heartbreak. It take a lot of struggle to get to that bold place to say, I ain't scared. I got Jesus. I ain't never there you go. We ain't never scared. Hashtag we ain't
I
never
ain't never
scared.
scared.
Cause I
Yeah,
ain't gonna leave my brother and sister out. So I don't wanna say I ain't, we ain't. We ain't
we
never
ain't.
scared. Oh, I feel a t-shirt coming. We ain't never scared.
Yeah. Do it before somebody else take it. Do it before somebody else take it. But when you talked about perspective, I think that word is so valuable because we got to look at it from a different way.
You have
If
to.
we continue to look at it in a negative way, we're always going to think negative. We're always
Negative.
going to see it from a negative point of view. However, if we look at it from the positive side and we say, how can I look at this from a different perspective? How can I look at this from a different lens, a different focus, refocus what I'm
Right.
looking at? So when the negativity comes in, I have to refocus it
Right.
on the positive side and look at it from a different standpoint.
Absolutely. We always gonna be team positivity, okay?
Right.
And you got to, it's just like the Bible saying, you got to renew your mind. Like it's your mind. You have to renew your mind just to understand the gifts that God has given us. You never know, everything you need is already right there in front of you. But until you change the way you think, until you change your perspective or your view, get that negativity out of here, it's going to always be some type of false picture in front of you, some type of false example in front of you, because you just have not changed your mind. You have not changed the way you thought about it. I think about people who have become millionaires or who have started businesses and they have just flourished. You think they then wasn't scared? You
Mm.
don't think that there wasn't moments and things that happened that they could have threw in the towel and said, you know what, this ain't for me. I don't lost $200,000. I can't do it. It's all in your perspective. It's all in how you think about it. And then they probably look back and be like, look at me now. I'm a whole millionaire. I'm a business owner. I just feel like that with just my with my little old degree. Okay. I got my degree. And then I have a good girlfriend, my girlfriend Vicky. I don't know if she's watching, but I used to be so hard on myself, and she was like, sis. Let me tell you, because she already in the master's area. She got that bachelor's. So that's another point. To listen to people who may have already experienced what you've been through, because they're gonna be able to help you through too. You
Hmm.
talk to the people that maybe have been through what you've been through, what you're going through, should I say? And so she saw that I was being so hard on myself, and she was like, "Sis, C's get degrees." And and I turned my head because we were on a FaceTime. And I'm like, what did you just say? And she was like, C's get degrees. She was like, don't kill yourself. Because she said, when you get that degree, the letter grades ain't on the degree.
Well,
And it stuck with me. But not knowing that once she helped me clear my thinking, once she helped me clear my head, I don't think I got a C. I was getting B's. I was getting A's. It was just that I had that little fire under me. All right, if it don't work, that C, just turn it in. The C you'll still pass. When they called my name across the stage, my school sent me a clip today. I might share it tomorrow or later. It said Tyishia Nicole Evely with honors. I graduated with honors. I graduated cum laude. The same person who was
well,
stressing, who was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this, and was my good sister said, C's get degrees. She changed my perspective. She changed the
mm,
way I came at it.
mm,
And you never know. Like it's just we gonna keep going back to that false evidence.
mm.
Once you conquer that thing, you never know where you about to go, how you about to take off. It leads me into one of my other fears of when I relocated. I was scared, but I was like, I'm going. I'm out. And like I told you, my husband, when stuff don't kind of line up the way he feel like it need to line up, he'll pump a brake real fast. And I was like, listen, we going. I'm going. And I know we are one, but I'm going. And I hope you coming with me. And I didn't know. I honestly didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if we were going to flop or we were going to take off. But I can say to this day, we've been up since since we've been here.
Mm.
By faith in God, and like we said, shout out to TPHND, honey. My church is thebomb.com. If y'all looking for a church and if y'all need somewhere to go visit, come to my church, okay? We're in Frisco,
Good
okay?
plug in. Good plug in.
Frisco, Texas. Okay, Pastor Cheryl Brady, Pastor Mom. We'll get you right together. I found a job actually with the company or with the subsidiary that I was with in New Jersey. I
Mm.
worked for the same Blue Cross and Blue Shield in Texas. My husband found the job flourishing. The baby is about to come out of high school in May. It's all in your faith and how you conquer that false evidence.
Yep. Okay. That's what's up. So moving on. So, man, um,
Kevin, you make me nervous.
so I got on here, talking about, um, you know, when we talk about, and I'm gonna go ahead and lead into this is rejection. Um,
Mm,
rejection. People think about, somebody being rejected. You trying to talk to this female, and she or whoever you try to talk to, but you get rejected, and you're like, man, like, and you start questioning yourself, like, what's wrong with me?
yeah.
And put this, um, you put this lock on yourself because you get rejected. Um, but the thing is, I've learned God has the perfect person for you. Let me go back. God has the person for you. They may not
Yeah.
be
It
perfect,
may not be perfect.
but they're for you. And
Yep.
so, when we talk about rejection, we look at relationship, but we also look at, rejection from others when it comes to, your parents rejecting you,
Wow.
your friends rejecting you
Hmm.
because of whatever it is. But that word rejection, is nothing that a lot of people want to see or feel, so they fear it because I
Hmm.
don't want to. I can see somebody and they be like, "Man, I want to talk to her. I want to talk to him," but I don't know if I'm their type. So my fear sets in, and I automatically tell myself I'm not their type because of the fact that I'm thinking one way. And you never know.
Hmm.
You can find somebody that is like just fine. And then next thing you know, you'll be like, no, I'm too dark skinned, or I always used to say, I got the gray hair and the silver hair, and I'd be like, man, people, I don't
Yeah.
look old, but because of this, people they'll be like, oh, no, I don't want to date him.
That's a
He's too
granddad. He a
old. Yeah,
granddad. He.
exactly. So I had to. I had listen. I'm being real.
I know. I'm
Hey,
embracing my streak. Where's my streak?
hey.
I'm embracing my streak.
I literally had the fear because the fear of rejection. So I was like, you know what? And people might laugh when I say this, but I said, you know what? I'm about to do the Just for Men Jet Black, and
Kevin.
come back out with that thing and be like, hey,
Mhm.
I'd be like, man,
And when
you
you
in
go
your
sweat at
twenties?
church, it's gonna be running down
Hey,
your the
hey,
side of your
hey.
face.
But at least I tried. At
You
least I went
try.
out there and I gave it my all. Like you said, we ain't never scared.
We
So
ain't never scared.
I understood. I understood that I had to come out of this fear in this telling myself my mind something that's false, and understanding that you never know who is in your path. So
That's
I want
it.
you to talk about the fear relationship because I know, you know the whole blended family with you and Keith,
Hmm.
and how were you, was that a fear of yours, was that a fear of his, coming into something like that?
Hmm. Ooh, I honestly think it was a fear for both of us, but I think the fear was more so not of being rejected from each other, but I think we had a fear of being rejected from people
Mm,
because of our situation, because we became a blended family. Everybody's not fond of that, especially when you say blended, that means you have children that are not by either the mother or the father. So there's other parents involved, and then there's friends and family of the other parents involved, and then there's people who just have their opinions on of what or how things should be. And so I want to say we really did have a fear of rejection. It was just we had a fear of rejection with people, but I don't know. It's just like I can't say I don't know. It's exactly what you said. God has that person for you. They may not be perfect because God knows I wasn't perfect, clearly, because I was the parent that had the children with someone else. And now I'm here. And what they call it in our day, I'm bag lady, got these three bags with me. Hey, 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 handsome. They got, like my bags. Okay, so it's like I I was I was very fearful, but not knowing that I was perfect for him. To him, I was perfect. And hear
Mm,
me, I'm fearful that, I got a situation, and if I go into a little deeper of my story, what I'm saying, I not only did I have my children, but I was previously married. And I'm able to talk and be free about it because I've overcame that fear. I'm not scared to talk about what I went through because the glory is so much better than the story. Okay.
mm,
So it's like I was previously married. I had my kids. We had, oh, we had some good hood situations. Okay, but to him, and I'm only repeating what he's repeated to me. So I don't want y'all to think I'm making this up or I'm tooting my horn. No, he said that I was perfect for him,
mm,
and then not knowing that this was the man that God sent to me to just help me do life. Like not
mm,
only am I in love with him, that's my husband, but we are great partners at doing life. And if we didn't overcome the fear of we could have let the fear of what people was going to say about us or how people was going to treat us, we could have let that stay like that and we wouldn't have anything today. I probably
mm,
wouldn't be in Texas. I don't think my kids would be thriving the way that they are. I don't think that my life would be as great. God is great. So I mean, I know it would have been something, but I don't think it would have been of this magnitude if we would have allowed the fear of rejection to just stay doormat, to just lay there. It's like we said, hey, I got you, you got me. And if nobody else don't got us, we got each other.
mm. I
Not
like that.
knowing that everybody loves Todd and everybody loves Keely.
Fact. And I want to say this, for anybody that's listening or will watch this podcast or rewatch it or share it. I One of the things I want to say to people is is that at the end of the day, we're always going to have that fear when it
Yeah,
comes to relationships, when it comes to rejection. But it's how you handle it. It's how you take it. It's how you find a different perspective
yeah.
on it and how you look at it. If but the one thing that I would say is when you have people that's on the outside coming in to the inside that's trying to destroy what you're trying to build, and they start getting in your ear, that will seep in fear because it will
Mm-hmm.
take you from, oh, this is the person that I know I'm supposed to be with, until somebody comes in and says something totally different. And now you start believing them because you're like, why would this person who I've known for this long try to, you know, do this to me and try to
Mm-hmm.
ruin what I have, and they see that I'm happy. But everybody that sees that you happy don't want you to be happy.
You're right. False
And so,
evidence.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, we gotta, and when I say we, I'm talking to myself. I'm not speaking French. I'm talking to myself and saying, at the end of the day, we all have to look at ourselves and say, what is the perspective on this thing? Am I going to let fear seep in and take away something that can be so precious when it comes to
Yes.
relationship, when it comes to any type of relationship, not just
Anything.
being in a relationship, marriage, and all that, but I'm saying a friendship,
Yeah.
somebody that just comes in and becomes that friend for you that you need at a time that you're going through.
Right.
Um, we have to understand that sometimes we have to take down our wall of being afraid to let people
So good.
in
Yeah,
and allow someone to come in and say, "Hey, I'm here for you." But allowing that and not fearing that. And so I'm guilty of that myself because we start talking about trust issues, but to understand that everybody's not out to get you, that everybody's not out to hurt you,
that's right.
and to take that fear away will be able to help you. So I think about all of that, and I just say to myself, man, like we gotta look at it in a different perspective. I
It's
love that
all about
word.
perspective.
Yes, because you gotta change your mind. You gotta change the way
Hmm.
you look at it. I always tell people look at it from a different lens, because
Right.
the lens that you're looking at it from is blurry because you're still dealing with things. So you gotta refocus, look at it from a different lens, and maybe you'll see something different, and you won't fear,
Hmm.
what you think you're fearing. And so when we look at the whole word fear, and we look at the stuff the different types of fear that we talked about tonight, I look at and say to myself that there is so much and so many people that have feared going back to school, leaving their job. A lot of people, I really didn't touch on the whole job thing because I know people have to work and they have to pay their
Hmm.
bills. I remember seeing Steve Harvey when he had his show. He said this to this lady. I always remember this because I did it. I'm a living witness. I did it since I've been in Dallas. I watched the
Right.
show, and I think 2 or 3 months I ended up in that same situation
Right.
because the lady was saying she was making good money. I was making good money, Ty, as a
Yeah.
supervisor.
Yeah.
And so she left that job on faith because she was not happy. And I was
Okay.
not happy. I was making money, but I'm telling you, money helps pay for whatever, but your
Right.
happiness, your peace
Right.
is better than money. I know people say, well, peace and happiness can't pay these bills, but if you believe like I believe in God, and know that God is a waymaker and He's a provider, and understanding that, I quit my job. I had an anxiety attack. I quit my job because I was like, God, show me if this is
Hmm.
not what I'm supposed to be doing. I
Right.
had an anxiety attack. I remember I got up that morning at 4, went, cleaned out my desk, Ty, cleaned out my
Wow.
desk. I wrote personal notes. I was a supervisor of 10, all females. Wrote personal notes to
Look,
all of
there,
them.
there go your stress a little bit, but look, go
Yeah,
ahead, go
yeah.
ahead.
So I you funny. I wrote personal notes and I said to myself, I'm gonna miss you all, but I have to do and I have to control my peace. And I was just like, and when I
Okay.
left, there was a piece about the whole thing, and I didn't have a job for 2 months, but I was still able to pay my bills.
Come
I was
on.
still able to do because I said, God, if this is what I'm supposed to do, show me. And He showed me all the way through, and I didn't have to struggle for those 2 months, and I was able to finally get a job through that. But I just, again, I bring that
Hmm.
up because we find ourselves, and people find themselves in this moment of fear. Fear sets in, and you stop what you was thinking and what you wanted to do because you're saying to yourself, no. But you're talking yourself out of something that's meant for you. So
Yep.
tonight,
Yep.
as we wrap up, I wanna tell everybody, fear is false, false,
Fake
false,
news. Hmm.
false. Okay,
Yes.
false evidence appearing real. It's not real, but it's
Mm-mm.
evidence because you see it and you start believing it and you start telling yourself, but it's not real. So I want to help somebody out tonight. If you had a fear, you want to go back to school, or you have a fear and you want to quit your job, or you have a fear and you saying, I want to apply for this job, but I don't think that I have the credentials. Go and do it.
Hmm.
The most they can say is no. The best thing they can say is yes. But
Right.
how would you know if you don't go and do it? And
That's
so I
right.
had to learn sometimes you got to take off the mantle of this whole fear, put it to the side, and
Yep.
say, I'm gonna do this no matter what. God got me either
That's
way.
right.
And
That's
if I
right.
don't get it, I can't look at it as a downfall. I got to look at it as it's a stepping stool to something greater and higher. Because this job was going to pay me 60. The next job that I get is paying me 80. So God
Yep.
already increased without me even having to work this other job. So we have to
Yeah.
start looking at it. And I'm saying we because I'm telling myself that we have to start looking at things in a different perspective.
Perspective. Peace is priceless.
Yes.
And just to close out with you, a lot of people with fear say, what if it goes wrong? What if it goes wrong? Change that and say, what if it goes right? We
Well,
always worried about if it goes wrong. What if it goes right?
yes, yes, yes,
Period.
yes,
Period.
yes,
Such a good conversation.
yes,
Yes.
yes. So, I wanted to touch on this, and then we're gonna close. So, another one that I had about facing fear, it's focus, engage, arise, release. Focus on the present, engage, give something full attention.
Hmm.
Fear of the so not having that fear hold on us, it decreases when you engage on something and you put your full attention to that. Arise,
Hmm.
redirect your thoughts, all right,
Redirect,
and
change it.
release, let go. You know, they say let go and let God have his
Hmm.
way. And so let go of the
Yep.
thoughts that is not in your control. Things that
That's
are
right.
not in control, let go. So focus, engage, arise, release. So, Ty, I thank you. I'm gonna give you
Absolutely.
the last words. Anything you want to say to the people that are watching, that will watch, and share. I leave it with you, Ty.
I just want to say what a phenomenal conversation. I mean, like, who knew we could get so much out of fear? But I just want to encourage anyone that watches this, that's still watching, whatever it is you desire to do, if God has placed it on your heart, go for it. I'm not saying that fear won't rise, and I'm not saying that you won't have concerns or that you won't have questions, but take control over your thoughts. Push yourself. Go off the deep end. You won't imagine how much you will overcome it if you just go for it. And it's like I said, what can go wrong? But what can go right? So many things can go right when we just let go of our fear. And that's all I have to say. Be positive about it. Be out here. Like I said, we ain't never scared. Mm-mm.
Hey, so I said I wanted you to do a little rendition because
Ah,
hey, I ain't forgot. I
I
want
thought
the
I was
people.
getting out of that.
Oh no, because trust me, I don't forget. Just some small, but I want you just to bless the people because you can sing. So go go ahead, Ty.
Okay, so we talking about fear, so I'll go, um, you are my strength, strength like no other, strength like no other. It reaches to me. You are my strength, strength like no other, strength like no other. It reaches to me. 'Cause in the fullness of your grace and in the power of your name, you lift me up. Oh, yes, you do, Lord. You lift me up. 'Cause you are my strength. Yes, you are. Strength when I am fearful. Strength when I am fearful. Your strength reaches to me.
I thank you,
That was
Ty.
that was just my
Man,
own personal rendition. When I'm
yes.
fearful, his strength, it reaches to me. His strength. I have joy through his strength. His strength is everything. I can get peace. I can get happiness. I am lifted through the strength of our Father, of Jesus. Hallelujah.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Ty, for being my first guest for season two. I appreciate you. I might have you come back at some point.
Hey.
Listen, season two is underway. I'm looking forward to the guests I'm going to have, the conversations I'm going to have. It's going to be some dope conversations. It's going to
Yes.
be, hey, anything is open. We're going to have some conversations, and we're going to dive deeper into these conversations. So, I look forward to you just rocking with me and going on this journey with
You
season
got
two.
it.
It's not going to be on just one specific subject this season, but it's going to be conversations that we need to have in this day and time. So I look
Yeah.
forward to those conversations. So last but not least, no matter if it's early morning, mid afternoon, or late at night, a good conversation with a cup of Joe will always get you right. This has been Coffee and Conversation with Kevin Smith. Have a good night.
Peace.